Can I tell you a story? I'd like to tell you a story. This is the story of Gregory. He is a pizza delivery man. He delivers pizzas. He goes home for 5 minutes to make himself feel better. And then he's back to work. He hoards the money, not for any selfish purpose, but rather for carpentry, to fashion the entrails of our environment into clean right angles. He lives for development. He gets out of bed to build a house. He goes to bed because he's tired. Welcome back to our city plot. Today is another change of pace. We're going to be developing another house. Every time I look at the Houghton house, I'm proud of where we've come, but I feel like we've got so much potential for growth. It's time we really challenge ourselves, show what we're capable of. The lot for this house was dauntingly small, but I had a house to fill the space. It's one I've actually tried to build before, but I never could figure out a decent scale for it. You'll see why when we start adding the extra details on this build. Like the Houghton house in the post office, it's actually a real-life building. At least it was. It is a Nuppanu house from 2nd Avenue in Detroit. It was built in the 1870s by a guy with a last name I'm probably mispronouncing. Unlike Gregory, he was a well-respected carpenter of his time, and his home will definitely reflect this. We won't be nearly as perfect, but we will use the tools at our disposal to make a worthy adaptation. The home was bulldozed in the 1940s, but that doesn't mean its journey is over. It will and already has lived on, through its story and valor. The design for this house really speaks to me in a way I can't really explain. I know I said I would hold off on the tower builds for now, but it's honestly a really cool feature I feel is heavily underrepresented in homes these days. I mean, who doesn't want a tower overlooking their neighbors? But as for the details of this house, I spent quite a long time determining what definition to go for. The porch on its own took about an hour and a half. Theoretically, I mean, we could put in as many details as we want, but there are time and money constraints, as well as general practicality concerns. We want the build to be modular in a way. A lot of the trim and finishing details carry over to other parts, and the copy function in this game is going to be very useful for that. So we want to be able to reuse them whenever possible. And I'm very happy with how the front facade is turning out, especially the part on the first floor that sticks out. Because of the size of the house we chose, we could not rely on walls. It would have looked weird. So I built my own. And the unfinished tower looks a bit silly right now, but just bear with me. I'm extremely happy with the final product. I especially love how the pillars frame the home, and with all the asymmetric details, it's all just lovely. We'll copy what we did on the front of the tower roof, but this time we're going to be more careful. We want to be able to copy and paste it 3 more times, without having to add extra details. Want to watch me spend $10,000? Want to see me do it again? Want to see me do it again? And that's a very nice roof. Though, maybe it sticks out too much. That also could be a consequence of the build height. But if I were to do this build over again, I'd definitely revisit that. But honestly, I think it's more than passable at this stage. Now we work on the porch balcony, which is more the same, surprisingly, though we have to make adjustments because the door is wider than the windows. And then a footpath leading in. And I found out you could place them inside of each other and the textures wouldn't overlap all weird, so I did this nice little curve. Later on, I add some rocks to this. I think it looks fantastic. I'm gonna do it from now on. And from here, we've kind of finished all the hard parts. We do more of the same as we go around the house. We could absolutely make a custom design for every window, but I quite like the patterns we've chosen so far. It's similar to how this house would have looked in real life. Though, aside from the front facade, I have no idea what the rest of the house actually looked like, layout and all. There are some pretty good guesses I can make based on what I already know. You know, kitchen in the back, if you've got a gable in the front, you've probably got one in the back that's lined up, etc. These features would fall into the Gregory doesn't know what he's doing category. For what he's accomplished, though, it is no small feat. He did empty his wallet yet again, but such is life. Probably the thing I'm least happy with on this home is the primary color. I don't know if it's the siding or what, but something about it just doesn't jive with me, especially in bright light. Pizza delivery is so grueling. I'm actually a higher rank in the grocery clerk job, but I can't stand that one anymore. I also could just, you know, spend the Robux and just continue building the house, but I don't know, I feel that's against the nature of this challenge. Gregory was born to suffer. To deliver pizzas is to suffer. We will make Gregory suffer. This job was made for Gregory. Also, ignore my chimney placement. It's a fire hazard. I know it is. But as we round off the exterior, I'm left reflecting on things I've done in my past. In my writings, I've always had trouble determining when something is considered finished. I'm always going back, endlessly tweaking things that are ultimately meaningless. And in a lot of ways, building has gotten me over that. It's thinking of the story like I'd build a house. And sure, I can fill in every spot with as many details as I like, but it's ultimately catering to my own interests. It's not about filling the page, it's about how the words you use fill the page. And an adaptation, like this house, where I take the same basic structure of something in the past and run with it in my own way, is just so much fun. I love the organized chaos of this house, where so much is shared, but it ultimately feels unique. And the same goes for this build as I do with my writing now. I will have to stop at some point and declare it done. And with that, we've finished the outside. Again, I did give this house an interior, but the upstairs is something a little less inspired than I'd like. You can tell I'm a lot more invested in developing the lower stories. The decorations on the first floor are nothing extravagant by any means, but I find the space rather cozy. But I appreciate you joining us in Gregory's journey. Next time I'll probably quickly develop the lot in front of the two houses and just making a little normal park just to fill that in so it's over. We're actually running close to the max file size. We're about 70% right now. So we'll see how everything goes. For now, I want you to go off and do something that you find truly meaningful. Pursue whatever it is you like and explore every which way that pursuit may take you. No one is born on this earth to do only one thing. Except for Gregory, he was born for pizza delivery. Alas, said the mouse, the world is growing smaller every day. At the beginning it was so big that I was afraid. I kept running and running, and I was glad when I at last saw the walls far away to the right and left. But these long walls have narrowed so quickly that I am in the last chamber already, and there in the corner stands the trap that I must run into. You need only change your direction, said the cat, and ate it up.